Welcome back to CryptosRus. I'm George. We're all George. So today, let's talk about, I know it's a little bit early since we just started November, but let's talk about the Santa rally and how in this last 2 months of this year, 2023, Santa could be bringing some big gains for Christmas. Let's talk about that. And also, there's something significant that's happening today that I don't think a lot of people are paying attention to. So let's talk about that as well and everything else that's going on in the world of crypto. Let's do this. Welcome, guys. Oh, I didn't change my screen. Let me do that. The market bell has just rung today. Looking pretty green. Pretty green indeed. Yesterday, Fed Chair Powell said a whole bunch of nothing. No more rate hike. It seems like that was the last one, and then we just had to wait. Wait until inflation drops down. And then, or we wait for a rate cut in sometime in mid of 2024, right? But it does seem like that was it. That was the very last one, and we may not get any more. So yesterday, the Dow was doing good. Today, entire market is doing good. So that's what happened. We got jobless claims today. Good morning. Jobless claims actually went up a little bit, more than estimate, not too far off, but still never a good thing to see the jobless claims go up in the U.S. And we may see this, unfortunately, rise up more and more because of the elevated rates that we're seeing right now, right? A lot more businesses cannot borrow because of the high rates, and, they might be struggling a little bit, so we'll have to pay attention. But this obviously is no good. But, I also noticed it's not just the U.S., of course, it's around the world. I just noticed that Japan is going to approve a $110 billion stimulus package to fight inflation. The funny thing is, I don't know how a stimulus package actually fights inflation. In fact, that would make inflation worse. So I don't know how that works. I don't know how that works, because that's just going to lead to worse inflation. But, maybe they know something better that I don't. But that's exactly why Robert Kiyosaki says that, people that are saving paper like fiat makes no sense, because the governments can print more paper at any given time, right? So it makes no sense to be loading up on fiat and saving a whole bunch of fiat, unless you go do something with it, unless you go invest with it. But if you're just saving it for decades upon decades upon decades, well, you will see that dwindle to almost nothing, okay? Because inflation robs you over time, slowly but surely, and after a decade or two, you'll really notice it. You'll really notice the difference, right? So that's why we are all stocking up and loading up on Bitcoin right now. And of course, Michael Saylor does not want anyone to forget that he made the decision to load up on Bitcoin while everyone else made fun of him and said that was stupid and blah, blah, blah. But you know what? Since he made that decision to load up on Bitcoin in 2020, it's been a long 3 years. Microstrategy stock is still up 242%. Bitcoin is up 192%. S&P is only up 25. NASDAQ is up 17. Gold is down 1%. Silver down 18%. And then look at others like Google, Microsoft, Apple, even Oracle, right? Have any of them come close to surpassing Bitcoin over the last 3 years? The answer is no. So Michael Saylor's like, yeah, I was right. And he's going to be more right in the next 2 years as Bitcoin goes upwards in 2024 and 2025, right? So this is one of those things where even when Bitcoin was down, even when his average you know, even when he was suffering from a lot of unrealized loss, right? But this is the thing with Bitcoin. This is the same thing with my DCA portfolio. If you DCA long enough, especially into something like Bitcoin, you will always get rewarded. You just look at history. You just have to look at history and you'll know. And then you add on top of that the new narrative of flight to quality, which is happening right now, right? And the macro conditions that are really, really horrendous. It's forcing people to pay attention to Bitcoin, right? So yesterday after I streamed, Bitcoin went almost to 36,000. It's itching to pop up. Today, I know right now it's down a little bit. It's like hugging that line. But last night, we almost surpassed 36,000, heading to 37,000. We had 100 million in short liquidations. And I think we're going to see a lot more of that as time goes on, as we get closer and closer and closer to year end. We're going to see that Santa rally, especially when we have, I mean, I look at whale alerts a lot more these days, and this just tracks all major movement from the whales. You could see 3 hours ago, 4 hours ago, again, $76 million worth of USDT transferred in Binance. Here's another one, $75 million transferred to Binance. Here's another one, $77 million transferred to Binance. These are USDT, by the way, okay? USDT. If it was like $77 million of the Bitcoin being transferred to Binance, well, that's bad because then, you know, they're looking to take some profits and sell. But these are all USDT transactions. These whales are moving all of their USDT, like hundreds of millions, seems like every single day into the exchanges. They may be buying up not only Bitcoin, but like things like Solana and other alts that have been going up like crazy. But like it seems like every single day, not even day, every single hour, there seems to be more money flowing into Binance. And not just Binance. If you scroll down the list, there's other exchanges, right? But primarily right now it's Binance. There's just a lot of money flowing in. And these guys could be waiting, or they have been buying, or they're waiting for something else. There's a big thing happening today. The day just started, but I think most people forgot that today could be a glorious day. Why is that? Because today, the SEC has a closed-door meeting, and many are speculating that one of the topics they will be talking about is Grayscale and whether they should allow Grayscale to convert their trust into a Bitcoin spot ETF. Okay, so this could be happening. This could be announced, okay, later today, this afternoon, and we get any kind of real news about a spot Bitcoin ETF approval, watch out. We may be heading to 40, 50,000 already, right? We already had a couple of prequels or previews, I should say. One fake news, one about, you know, the symbol for BlackRock's ETF being listed, and now all these fund managers have their spot Bitcoin ETF symbol listed. But today there's a big closed door meeting. Now, it doesn't mean that it has to be talking about this, but if you look at the details, they're talking about litigation and settling, and it makes sense. They have to do something about Grayscale. Grayscale won. They can't appeal. The SEC can't appeal. So something has to be done. You can't just leave them hanging forever. I think they only had like 30 days to respond. So it's either going to get approved or not. So this could be coming today, okay? This is happening today. So we'll see. I guess we'll just have to see what. If this comes out, it'll be absolutely huge. But even if it doesn't, right, many people, including Matrix Port, think that the Santa rally, the last 2 months of this year, will propel Bitcoin to about 56,000 by year end. Now, that 56,000 makes a lot of sense because it's actually a critical, if you look at history and you look at these critical levels that Bitcoin tends to hit before the halving event, this is one of them. This is one of them, right? But obviously, if we get a spot Bitcoin ETF, we'll hit it a lot faster. But this definitely could be happening. And this is because of everything that's happening. Because Bitcoin is rallying. We're getting closer and closer and closer to the halving event. And everything else I've been saying have been driving people to Bitcoin. And the fundamentals continue to get better. Right? 56,000. Imagine that. Right? Right now, I think a lot of us all of a sudden got used to this 35,000 level. When, in fact, just last week, we were in the 34. And then just the week before that, we were below. And we were down to 26, right? We're slowly trending up really, really fast. I say slowly and really fast. I know they're contradictory, but that's just how it is in crypto. It seems like you get used to prices really fast. But we have come up really fast. So our next level could be at 37. After 37, I don't even have a line drawn out. It could be 42, 44, right? And we have just begun November. We just entered Pumpvember, right? And we got a full month of that and a full month of December. So can we hit 56,000 by the end of this year? Yes, I say there's a possibility. Is it a great possibility? I don't know. If I had to put a percentage on it, maybe like 30, 40%. You know, I think 56K is within reach, but it's going to take some doing. But who knows? Who knows? FOMO is real. Everyone wants to get in. So, yeah. Here's an example before I show you that. Here's an example of FOMO. You have a 155-year-old Swiss bank. Now, that's allowing their customers to trade Bitcoin and Ether. That's an example of FOMO. I'm not talking about just retail FOMO. Like even banks. Banks are FOMOing. A lot of banks, Standard Chartered, they love Bitcoin, right? Not everyone's like Jamie Dimon and JP Morgan trying to say we hate Bitcoin, yet they're actually doing a lot of Bitcoin and crypto transactions behind the scenes. A lot of banks are now FOMOing in because they know this is what their customers want. Why fight it? Allow them to do what they want to do, and then you can collect some fees in the meantime, right? That's exactly what's happening. So there are a lot of people, institutions, banks, financial companies, fintech companies. They're all looking to come into this space in a big way. They're all FOMOing. Now look at this, okay? You guys love inverted charts. Mags actually posted this like a couple months ago where he was showing, well, if you're looking at this, you're looking at this trend line, what's going to happen with Bitcoin? Well, it looks like it's going to go down, right? In a big way. Except this is inverted. So, you know, if this wasn't inverted, all the bears will come out and say, yeah, that looks right. That looks right. Bitcoin's going to fall in a big way, right? But then, you know, that's the beauty of inverted charts. Somehow, if you make it look like it's going to go down, it looks more believable because people, I don't know, are bearish, traditionally pessimistic. I don't know. But, you know, he drew this out in September, and if you look at it now, I mean, it's according to plan. It is starting to go down, right? And then that next stop of 56,000 will be around the corner, and then eventually we hit our high of 69,000. And then we break through and we continue forward into 2024, right? So his chart is actually pretty darn accurate. But, you know, again, with human psychology, somehow if you do an inverted chart like this, it seems more believable than if you just showed a chart that's going up. Even though I do show a lot of charts going up, but this is, you know, I don't know. People just love to believe charts that show downwards movement, okay? But here's the upwards movement one. This one shows that Bitcoin is on the way, just like before from 2 cycles ago, just like the same climb it did from bottom of like $160 to $20,000 is looking very similar. There are a lot of similarities between our current path and the path back in 2016. Even though Bitcoin was much smaller back then, a lot less money, but we're moving very, very, very closely. So if this is going according to plan, a little bit after the halving event, we will be around that 50, 60, 70,000 mark. And then afterwards, that's when things go real nutty and they go sky high, just like in 2017. And if we do the same kind of trajectory, this doesn't even really plot it out the same way, but if it did, it would be like off the scale. But right now, this is saying, hey, Bitcoin, if it's following the same patterns before, we could hit $320,000 by the end of this cycle. That would be insane. I don't even think it's gonna go that high. But again, with all the FOMO from the institutions, with the spot ETFs, with all the largest asset managers coming on board and countries now adopting Bitcoin, the amount of money out there, there's so much. And if you even have a small sliver, a few percentage points from bonds and equities and debt and real estate, just a small portion of those asset classes, if they came into Bitcoin, it will drive Bitcoin up to equal the market cap of gold, first of all, which would put Bitcoin at $700,000, and then one day go above $1 million. Maybe not this cycle, but as we get more and more cycles as we move forward, that's what we have to look forward to. So if you're excited about 35,000 Bitcoin, wait until we have $350,000 Bitcoin, and then wait until we have $1 million Bitcoin. By then, it's going to be hard to DCA. It's going to be really, really, really hard to DCA. Right now, it's still not so hard. It's tough, but not impossible. But when Bitcoin is at 350,000 and you're trying to DCA, it's going to be 10 times harder, right? That's just reality. All right, so Bitcoin is still looking good. It's taking a breather today, but you know what? It's going to recover. It's going to continue upwards. It's going to keep doing what it's doing, which is just ignoring the news, ignoring the FUD, ignoring the volatility, and it's just going to continue to do what it does and keeps on moving forward because the fundamentals state so, okay? The growing fundamentals continue to get stronger, and that has not changed, even versus when we were down to 16,000. The fundamentals were still improving, and I said that, and I was saying, you know, that's what I concentrate on, right? And it's just been getting stronger. Now, outside of Bitcoin, what else is there? I did notice this too. A lot of you guys are holding alts. Obviously, alts have been doing good. Not terrific, but just good. You know, we had some standouts like Solana has been standing out. Cardano, you know, stood out yesterday. A lot of the DEXs like Uniswap, I saw Uniswap, SushiSwap, PancakeSwap, they all like had big pumps yesterday. Aave, Compound, they had big pumps. But, you know, they're still nowhere near their all-time high, but we're starting to see some traction, right? So this one is looking at USDT dominance, and whenever that dominance breaks through the EMA 50 line, actually that signals altcoin season, or at least like a mini altcoin season, right? This cycle, it's a little bit different because a lot of the alts are much stronger than previous periods. But if you look at 2021, this happened a couple of times where alts really gained a lot of strength. Guess what's happening right now? This dominance also broke below the EMA 50, right? So does that mean we're going to have a mini altcoin season? Maybe that's what we're seeing right now. Maybe. But, you know what? We'll see. That's why we hold, though. That's why we hold alts. A lot of people are just go all Bitcoin, right? And for most part, that's true. You know, Bitcoin is the one that I can guarantee will be around in 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 50 years. Can't say the same thing about Solana or Cardano or even Ethereum in 20 years, right? But we do have these mini and full-blown altcoin seasons. And when they happen, these alts go up like crazy. 10x, 20x, 50x, 100x. We have seen 1000x, 5000x, 10,000x happen in bull runs. They will definitely help carry your portfolio as long as you're holding the right ones, right? But that's why we hold. It helps you. The best way to look at it is it helps you gain on Bitcoin. It helps you accumulate more Bitcoin without actually buying more Bitcoin, right? So will we see that in this Santa rally before the end of the year? Maybe. Maybe we will. Maybe we will. Yeah, and then lastly, just, I mentioned about Solana, Cardano. Matic has been coming up recently. Avalanche has been coming up. A lot of the L1s are coming up, right? A lot of whale moves right now. So let's see what happens, right? We got 2 full months before the end of the year. If Bitcoin has a crazy Santa rally, will alts follow? The answer is yes. Alts will follow in a big, big way. Okay? So, I mean, like right now, there are some that are standing out. Bitcoin Diamond is coming down a little bit, right? Bitcoin fell down a little bit to 35,000, but man, like Solana still at like $43. It's still up 81% within the last 30 days. That's just crazy, right? But then you have others like Polygon and Polkadot. You got a lot of alts right now showing strength. You got Uniswap up 12%. You got Hedera up 8%. Even ICP. I mean, these guys are showing true strength right now. That's awesome. So can't wait to see where everything will be by the end of this year. All right, let's do some Q&A. All right. Good crowd once again. Let's see if I missed anything on top here. Paul Duran says, George looks like he's good at math and proved it. I don't stereotype, though. I guess in that case it's good, so I'll take that. Hola, French Toaster. This is nothing really yet from Troy. That is true. May there be light, or may there be love, light, peace, and crypto gains in Moonvember. No, it's Pumpvember, but yes. Let's see. Stop. I can't take any more good news. We can always take more good news. Today we got that closed SEC meeting. Man, if we get that spot Bitcoin ETF approval today, I can't imagine where Bitcoin will be and where alts will be by the end of the day. It's going to be insane. Insane. All right. Mana Bouts, I don't know how to say it. Large super chat. Don't forget Top Gun. He got the girl because he was inverted. That's actually quite clever there. Loving inverted chart. Good day to George and George's Rounded Planet. Thank you, my man. Top Gun Maverick is a really good movie. Really, really, really good movie. Citizen Crypto, big super chat as well. With approval of BlackRock's ETF, do you think they'll join Elizabeth Warren's war on hardware wallets? I don't know. That could be a move. That could be a move that they do, right? Because then it drives more people to buy ETFs. I like to think they're not going to do that, but you know what? It's BlackRock. We can't hide BlackRock. Yeah, I mean, we can't hide from the fact that they have done things like that before. I don't know. I don't even get this war against wallets, You are free to have your own wallet, right? I could see how they could put a lot of regulations and KYC and AML checks on wallets being provided by an exchange, for example, right? But if you're downloading like a wallet, or you purchase hardware wallet, and the only purpose of that is really to protect your private key. That's no one's business. That's your own business, right? So like it doesn't even make any sense. Joel Lamas, glad Matic is showing life. But that said, the ETH L2 market is pretty saturated with lots of competition. Do you think Matic can get back to its all-time high? Yes. It's not really, Matic is weird. I have always said it's like a L1, L2 because it's not really a L2. Most L2s use ETH as the gas, but Matic does not. Matic uses Matic, and then now they're going to the new Pol token, right? So the best way to think about them is they are L1 that's ETH compatible, but they're not really a L2. With that said, yes, there is increased competition, and it may be harder for them to get back, but I think they will at least get back to their previous high. Chris, I'm not a fan of Exodus Wallet. I've heard too many people get hacked. I've been hacked before with Exodus, so I don't really trust them. Although they probably have fixed a lot of their issues, but I stay away. Do you think Tales from the Crypto, parentheses, Tales from the Crypto. Why do you need to say Tales from Crypto twice? I don't get that. George, do you think XRP will take the number 2 spot this bull run? Actually, I don't think that's the case. I think they will do well. Do I think they're going to flip Ethereum this bull run? I don't think so. I think they will be a number 3. There's a good chance that they could be a number 3. But to flip Ethereum and go to number 2, I don't know. I guess we have seen it before. So, I mean, technically it's possible. But I think Ethereum's going to gain strength again. And it's going to be really hard to make up that gap. But nevertheless, even if it doesn't, it's still going to be... There's still be good gains. For sure. George Leiden asked, George, why is no one talking about Bitcoin's previous weekly close? It closed higher than December 2020. I don't know. I talked about the monthly close. I don't know if a lot of people are talking about a weekly close. Alan says, help me, George. I have a bad habit of dollar cost FOMO. That's the best way to do it. I mean, if you don't believe me, just look at Saylor, man. Saylor has proved it. He's been dollar cost averaging Bitcoin, even though most of his purchases have been, pretty high. $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 purchases. But then, on the flip side, he bought a lot below 20,000 too recently, right? And he bought a lot in the 20s. And he just purchased some in October too. But he's proving that, yeah, DCA into Bitcoin works. Even on a billionaires level, right? He's not buying just a few hundred. He has over 158,000 Bitcoins in MicroStrategy. He's proving that even on a much larger scale, when you're buying Bitcoins in the billions, DCA still works, right? But here's the thing. You don't want to, to be fair, you don't want guys like Saylor to be buying so much of the supply. That means there's very little left for everyone else, right? We actually don't want, if you think about it long term, you don't want MicroStrategy and Tesla and BlackRock, all these big boys taking about everything. Then that means there's very little left for everyone else to enjoy, right? And whether or not we could stop that, I don't know. But how do we benefit from it? accumulate as many Bitcoins as we can before that happens. Because when that happens, when all these big boys control enormous amounts of Bitcoin, and Bitcoin's probably well above $1 million by then, everyone will be a millionaire, right? So you want to try to accumulate as much as possible while Bitcoin's cheap before we get to that point. You know, one day, I don't know if I'll be streaming past 2025, but, you know, one day, let's say in 2030 or 2029, and Bitcoin's like literally at $1.5 million, it's going to be hard for me to say if I'm streaming, hey, we should DCA into Bitcoin, right? Like Bitcoin at that time, it's impossible to DCA into something that's worth $1.5 million. And that's what Kathy Wood thinks. I didn't just pull that number. That's what she thinks. That's what ARK Invest thinks. Bitcoin will be at 1.5 million by the end of by 2030, right? It'll be too late to DCA when it's 1.5 million each. NMCT Sailor is a diamond hander. Dude at one point was down almost 50%. He kept buying. I mean, that's why. I mean, yes. You know, sometimes it's rough. Sometimes it's really rough when you're DCAing through winter, and then a lot of people get on your case and saying, well, you're stupid. You should have sold on top. Look at me. I'm so smart, and I sold there, right? You know, but you ignore those guys, and you keep on going, okay? You just keep DCAing. That's really it. And with Bitcoin, it's proven strategy that it works. Okay, there's someone that sent a super chat. I can't read the name, but what are your thoughts on Pepe 2? I think it's garbage. So, if you made money, you should pull out immediately. With meme coins, they dump really fast. The only reason why they go up with meme coins, because there's an insider group that's pumping it and waiting to dump at a certain level. So you should dump Pepe 2. I did not have a meeting with Cadena yet. You guys need to stop it. It seems like you're all like spies for Cadena or something. Stop asking about the meeting with Cadena or I'm going to cancel it. See, the amazing thing is, even Bitcoin pulled back a little bit, a little bit above 35 right now, even though it pulled back, and it was almost at 36 yesterday. Even with the pullback, most of the alts are still holding on their gains. It's not like they sold off. People are still enjoying their gains. They're not panic selling. So that's fantastic. That's really good. Space Vibe says, pull out of meme coins fast like a one-night stand. Jeff says, you should really pay attention to Wilder World. Mark my words, the racing game is coming out next month already. Tell me another racing game that has done well, I guess. I can't even think of any. Besides like Gran Turismo or something like that. But like in crypto or anywhere else, is there any racing game that even does well? Mario Kart, maybe? I don't know. Not something that I'm terribly excited about, even after you said that. Forza, yeah. Forza is kind of like the copy of Gran Turismo on Xbox because, you know, Xbox can't come out with Gran Turismo. Need for Speed is dead. It's just Gran Turismo and Forza now. I don't even think there's a need for speed. It's dead. Cruising USA at the arcade. My kids used to play that a lot. Daniel says Floki and their new token are the biggest hype right now. You know, the funny thing is, I just got an email from someone from Floki asking me to promote their new token. So whatever their new token is, they are trying to get everyone to talk about it right now. They had some beef with some exchange recently with BigGet or someone that wasn't supposed to list yet, and they did. But yeah, I'm not gonna be getting into that. Can you speak about the big Bitcoin miners post-halving? It's going to be twice as hard for them to make money. That's what it means. They are loading up right now as much as they can. Loading up meaning spinning up miners and mining as much as they can and holding that, because after the halving event, it's twice as hard. Their rewards get cut in half. Literally, that's why it's called a halving event. So, yeah, they're going to have to prepare for that. Does Jordan answer questions from poor people? I would if you had a question. So many regrets in crypto, lost count, driving me crazy. Your next regret is building that basketball court outdoors rather than indoors. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm the same way. I made a lot of mistakes over the years. Knowing what I know now, going back to 2013, man, I would have just kept DCAing, holding everything. Okay? Because that's when I entered the space. I mean, I would be much better off than I am now if I did everything that I'm doing now back then. You know, we live and we learn. That's all we could do. We pick ourselves back up and we keep going. What is the stock market doing? Stock market is doing pretty good today. Oh, wow. Look at this. Coinbase up 5-6%. Earnings announcement after market close. I wonder if Coinbase is going to report really good. I don't know, because this is reporting last quarter, and last quarter wasn't that strong. So I don't know. Mara is up big today, 7%. And then you got like Tesla up. So Mara and Coinbase, what's MicroStrategy here? MicroStrategy's up, not as big. So today is really good for stocks. Let's put Coinbase back on. Franz Batali, I'm not a big fan of ICP, so I can't really talk about ICP. Slot Warrior, I'm not going to be checking that, even though You sent a $2 super chat. Everyone keeps talking about dark mode. You guys just need to calm down, okay? I got dark mode for most things, but I'm not going to do dark mode for everything. It's fine. This is dark mode. This is light mode. Dark mode, light mode. Christian, I'm not going to pretend I'm going to know how to say that, so I'm not going to say it. Bitcoin is showing a little weakness right now. A little weakness. That's okay. That's okay. We will get back. Let's not forget that we were just here, okay? We were just here yesterday. We were right here. We fell here to about 34,000 just yesterday. So we've been here before. Would love to see us go back up, of course, above here and hold, utilize it as a support. Then we can build up to 37. Over here, ooh, it really looked like we had enough momentum after my last night's stream. It looked like, yeah, we were going to head there by this morning, right? Then something happened, but man, we're getting closer and closer and closer. Are you an algo governor? No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I think something's happening. I think people are, I think there's like a little whale game going on. I think some people are preparing for this. I don't know when this secret closed door SEC meeting is, but I think whales are preparing for this. If this is good, if this is about Grayscale, or Grayscale is discussed, and their trust is allowed to be converted to a Bitcoin spot ETF, that means that the SEC will allow spot Bitcoin ETFs. And if that happens, if that comes out today, watch out. We are going to see a tremendous, tremendous, tremendous pump today. Oh, people know. 2 p.m. Eastern. So that's 1 p.m. Central. Wait for this. Wait for it. Only a few more hours. Thoughts on James Harden to Clippers? I mean, Clippers on paper are stacked, okay? Even though those guys are getting pretty old, but still. Leonard could play if he's healthy. Paul George could play if he's healthy. Then they got Westbrook, which isn't the greatest shooter, but he works so damn hard. And then now you got Harden, who could still play. You know, that's a pretty loaded team. And then they got Zubac. I guess he's okay. What are you most excited and hopeful for between now and New Year's? I don't know what you mean by that. Like, in terms of news or like a coin? If it's news, I'm hopeful for a spot ETF. I do think there's a good chance before the end of the year we will get one. So whether it's today or in December, I'm looking forward to that. But I don't know. If you're talking about like a specific coin, I'm sticking with Bitcoin. Thoughts on PNG since you like Avalanche? What is PNG? Penguin? Their decks. I haven't checked them out for a long time. Trader Joe kind of just like took off. You have two major dexes. You got Trader Joe, who's being sued by Trader Joe's. And then you got Penguin, but I don't hear anyone talk about Penguin, to be honest. I don't know how that just turned in light mode. And they're at 4 million market cap, so I don't know. They just don't have any traction. I much rather, I'm working with Kingdom Studios to come out with Mythic Swap, which is a totally new kind of order book style decks for games specifically, and I think it could be better than both. So I'm not a big fan of Penguin right now, but we'll see. We'll see how Mythic Swap does. I don't know why this just reset all of a sudden. Talk about the Rangers winning the World Series. I could care less. I'm not a baseball fan. I only found out about it because I went on ESPN to check NBA stats, and I saw Rangers won 4-1. I'm like, okay. Not something I care about. Flash Gordon. All right, guys. Let's conclude. The Santa rally, okay, could drive us much, much higher. Much higher. But today we got some big news. Big news that could be coming at 2 o'clock Eastern time. So let's see what happens. But even if we don't get that big news, Michael Saylor has proved that DCA works. And we, I believe, will see a lot more people FOMO in and DCA by the end of this year. That could definitely help drive Bitcoin up to 56,000 by year end. Okay, so let's see. By tonight, Bitcoin could be much higher if we get that approval. So smash up the like, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys tonight, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. All right? Have a good one, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.